Hello everybody, welcome to Ceramics 101, and today I am going to be showing you the fundamentals and basics of throwing a vase, pot, mug, whatever you'd like. So first what you're going to want to do is make sure you've got a wheel. That is very important, okay? Make sure you've got the essential tools: a wooden rib, a sponge, you'll need a needle tool. You'll also need a metal rib, but that's for another video. Now, you may want an apron, you may not, depends the type of thrower you are, but I prefer one. Keep my clothes clean and whatnot. The first thing you're going to do is make your clay into a ball. It's going to need to be about the size of a grapefruit, maybe less. This is for probably a mug type shape or maybe even a small vase. But yeah, so make it into a ball by making a cup with your hands. You're going to want to throw the ball and clap it. Until it is a nice sphere shape. Like so, a decent ball. What you want to do next is get your wheel slightly damp. Okay, that's not like you can see the wetness, but you want to be able to feel how like a slight dampness to your wheel. Next, you're going to find the center of it, and you're going to throw your ball right at the center of it, like that, and slap it twice to make sure it's on there. Then, you're going to wet your ball before you do anything, because you got to keep it wet and you got to keep it spinning. That is the main rule of throwing on the wheel. The next thing we're going to do is called making a skirt. Now, you're going to turn your wheel on. You can do it fast, it doesn't really matter. But what you want to do is start pushing down on the clay and towards the center. And then with this hand, you're going to want to start pushing down and making a connection between the bottom of the clay and the actual board. This is going to create a sort of like bond between it so that it doesn't fly off your wheel. Like so. So this is what the skirt will look like when it's stopped. You'll notice there's not really a divide between the bottom of the clay and the wheel. It's just simply smoothed out among it. Alright, what we're going to be doing next is called centering the clay. As you can see right now, it's not completely centered. There's still a little bit of wobble to it. So what we're going to do is called coning up and coning down. Now, coning up is you put your hands, left hand over the right hand by the fingertips, like this. Then you're going to put that around the clay. Make sure your full pinky and the base of your hand is on the base of the wheel. What you're going to do, make sure it's wet and keep it spinning. Alright? You're going to push inward towards the bottom. You might need to get a little bit more water, but push inwards towards the bottom, and then that'll push clay up and out of your hands. Okay, like so. You want to make sure this is kind of like up straight, not wobbling too much, like so. Okay? Then next, you're going to want to make sure that's wet. Keep it wet, keep it spinning. That's one of the main fundamentals of throwing anything. Okay? Then you're going to take your left hand and make sort of that cup shape we used to make the balls earlier, okay? Then you're going to push towards away from yourself, using this hand to support the clay on the side, and make sure your right hand doesn't move a muscle. Make sure it's just there and supported and anchored into your hip, okay? And you'll do this as many times as it takes, because see, the first time it's not really centered. You might have to do this process maybe like 4 to 5 times if you're lucky. I am not perfect at this, but you may be a prodigy. But however many times it takes to get this ball perfectly on the wheel. Alright, now this is a step before we make a wall. You're going to take these 2 fingers, make a finger peace sign, and then put them together. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube for calling it a finger gun, you know. But whatever, forget about that. Then you put the middle finger in the center of your pot and push down, slowly supporting it with your right hand. Also, make sure you get some water in here so that it stays nice and wet. Keep it wet, keep it spinning. You know what they say. To push down with your middle finger. Don't push through the bottom though. I want to make sure there's a small amount of space in the bottom for the bottom of your mug, vase, cup, whatever you're making. Now, once you've done that, you will want to put a little bit of water in that center part. Support the side with your right hand. Make sure the bottom of your hand is always touching the wheel head. And then you'll push, or you'll pull the clay inward with your 2 middle fingers. And then push it all the way to the side, leaving you a nice small cup looking thing. And after that, we're going to slow the wheel down a little bit and pull some walls. What you're going to do is get your finger in this shape so that it's nice and straight, okay? And then what you're going to do is get your 2 middle and your pointer finger, put them together. Support the outside of your sculpture with your right hand, and with your left hand push outward towards your finger. Now remember to keep it all wet. If it's making a dry, sandy sound, then get some more water on. Next, you're going to keep your fingers the distance of the wall that you'd like. So if you want a wall this fat, you're going to keep your fingers that fat. If you want a wall that fat, you're going to try and keep that amount of space in between all the way up, okay? Support your wall with your right hand and pull up with your left hand. Let the clay do the work in this part, okay? If you get off-centered, gently put water on both your hands. This is something I do. I don't know if it's correct or not, but it helps me out sometimes. Use both your hands and gently cusp around your thing and bring it inwards a little bit. Then get your fingers back in the position for pulling the wall and pull up slowly. Okay, and once you've gotten your pot or mug or whatever you're making to a whatever you want it to look like, you are going to cut this top part off so you have an even space so that it's not wobbling when you're trimming. You're going to take these two fingers once again, or just one finger, it's fine, but you're going to place it behind or you're going to trim off. Make sure it's to the slowest setting of speed it can be, and then dig into it and pull up. And there you go, that'll take it off. That'll make this top part even. I just want to make sure it's nice and even. And bam, that is what you need to know.